Then she went over to the white man. When she saw him, her thick lips folded themselves into stubbornness. I have never washed a white man, she said, and I will not wash so dirty a one now. Now, when Yumi went and saw the white man, her lips folded very stubbornly, very obstinately, and very aggressively. She said that I have never washed a white man before, and I have no intention of washing a white man now, that too such a dirty one. Hannah cried at her severely. Hannah shouted at her, "You will do what your master commands you." She tells her that you will do what you are told. There was so fierce a look of resistance upon Yumi's round, dull face that Hannah felt unreasonably afraid. Now, Hannah saw a very fierce, very angry, aggressive look of resistance, of protest on Yumi's face, Yumi's dull face. And this made Hannah unreasonably afraid. It made her very afraid. After all, if the servants should report something that was not as it happened, she was afraid that the servants might report something that had not happened the way it happened, something contrary to what had actually happened. "Very well," she said with dignity. So now, with respect, with pride, she said, "Very well. You understand, we only want to bring him to his senses so that we can turn him over as a prisoner." So she clarifies her position and says that we only want him to gain consciousness so that we can turn him as a prisoner to the authorities. "I will have nothing to do with it," Yumi said. "I am a poor person and it is not my business." To which Yumi replied that I have nothing to do with him and I don't want to do anything with him. I am a poor person and I just want to mind my own business. This is none of my business. "Then please," Hannah said gently, "return to your own work." So now Hannah said, "You go to your own work. You need not do the work that I have told you to wash the white man." At once Yumi left the room. But this left Hannah with the white man alone. Now earlier Hannah had rushed out. She did not want to be with the white man alone. But now, because of her anger, she stood there only. She might have been too afraid to stay had not her anger at Yumi's stubbornness now sustained her. Now because of her anger at Yumi, she stayed there. That anger gave her the courage to be there. "Stupid Yumi," she muttered. Muttered is to speak something very low in an inaudible voice. So she said, "Stupid Yumi." Fiercely, she muttered fiercely, "Is this anything but a man?" She says, "Is this anything but a man, and a wounded, helpless man? So what is wrong in this? He is just a man, and that too a helpless, wounded man." In conviction of her own superiority, she bent impulsively and untied the knotted rugs that kept the white man covered. Now, in the conviction of her own superiority, in the belief of her own superiority, she was much superior than the servant. She bent impulsively, without thinking, she bent and she opened the knot of the rugs that kept the white man covered. She opened his clothes, rugs. When she had his breast bare, she dipped the small clean towel that Yumi had brought into the steaming hot water and washed his face carefully. Now she picked the small towel that Yumi had brought with the water and she cleaned his face. The man's skin, though rough with exposure, was of a fine texture and must have been very blond when he was a child. So now she observes that the skin of the man, because of exposure, it was rough, but otherwise it was a very fine texture and he must have been very fair when he was a child. While she was thinking these thoughts, though Not really liking the man better now that he was no longer a child, she kept on washing him until his upper body was quite clean, but she dared not turn him over. Where was Sadao?